So they're giving you a lot of attention and nothing else is happening. I've got about 10 minutes. Let's talk about it. So the other day I was out with a friend and she's single and we were talking about this interaction that she was having with this gentleman. And the interaction was so fun and flirty and it was very like warm, and this gentleman was being so thoughtful and kind, and she was telling me about it and she said, but I'm not interested romantically in him, and I don't want anything to do with that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And she was like, what's interesting? And I said, well, I don't think that that was romantic. And she was like, well, he was paying me so much attention. And I said, yeah, but attention is just attention, attention is just attention. Like, I think this is something that I really got to learn the hard way when I was single. And it wasn't even the hard way. It was actually a very clear lesson. It just was uncomfortable, which most lessons are, right? They're uncomfortable. And I was working in a particular place. And there was this man that I was working with who there definitely was an attraction there between us, but it was platonic and it was flirty and it was fun. And he would give me a lot of attention when I was at work. And I thought, oh, well, he must like me, right? Because we see that in movies. We are told that over and over again, like, oh, well, if he pays attention to you, he must like you. So we went in this, dance for a while. And finally, I was like, what's happening here? Like, there's all this attention, there's this adoration, there's this fun flirtiness, there's this chemistry. What's happening here? Like, are we supposed to take this further? And he was very straight up with me, which was so kind of him. He was like, I do enjoy engaging with you, but I am not the man that can give you the life that I think you deserve, which I think is so honoring. And at the time, I was kind of hurt by it, right? I was like, what do you mean? I don't understand. And now that I'm like almost 8 years removed from that incident, 9 years removed from it, I can see based on what I've learned. And now that I've been married for 4 years and we've been together for almost seven, like I can see it was attention. It was a fun interaction. It was, and attention is attention. That's what it is. Just like when you turn on the TV and you watch hoarders, like you have no intention of becoming a hoarder, right? You have no intention of maybe being a hoarding interventionist. Like there is nothing, right, that hoarding has to do with your life. It's entertaining. It's entertaining to watch for some people. It captures your attention and you give your attention to it because it does something for you, but that doesn't mean that you desire to become that you desire to take it a step further, right? And I really feel so passionately about this distinction between attention and desire because I see a lot of women getting caught up in it. And I would say men, but I don't have a lot of experience with men in the dating realm. So I'm not going to speak on that. But for women, it's like, oh, well, he brought me this, or he's always talks to me, or he texts me, and it's like, well, that's great. It's entertainment, right? It's attention, and attention is really just that. It's somebody pointing their focus on you and engaging with you in a way, and maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't. But I think that when someone is clear about where they're going and who they want to go with, they make it very clear, like especially men make it very clear. They are not confusing creatures. And if you feel confused by a man, that is not the man for you because they're very, very clear, especially in their actions, right? Like it was interesting because the example that I told you about just a few minutes ago, he never asked me out. And this went on for a while, like at least 6 months, if not a year. And he never initiated the step further, which should have been my first sign of like, oh, this is entertainment. We're just having fun. We're enjoying each other's frequencies. We're playful. I feel cared for because he shows up and is reliable and he knows that I'm reliable. So it's really this beautiful dance if I can refrain from putting my own story on it, right? If I can refrain from pretending like it's a Hollywood movie, which is so inaccurate around relationships, and I can enjoy it. Let me enjoy the engagement. Let me have fun with it, right? And like that's the thing that I think so many women that I've spoken to over the last 20 years I've been in this field is they get caught up in the attention and they think that the attention is desire, and the desire specifically to take something another step further. And it's like, no, it's literally attention, right? It's no different than when you open up your phone and you start to scroll, and not to minimize the care that's involved, not to minimize the fun that's involved. But I don't know about you. Some days I have a really good time sitting on my phone watching TikToks because it's engaging, it's fun. I laugh, I cry, I experience different things that, make me feel connected or teach me something. And that's what all of us are doing as humans. And so if you have someone who is paying a lot of attention to you, or many people who are paying a lot of attention to you, right? That's all it is it's attention until you clarify. And for some of you, maybe the next step is clarifying. Maybe the next step is asking, hey, what's going on here? Or what's happening, right? Like, do you feel this? Yeah, I feel that. Okay, is it going anywhere? And if it's not, then it's not, right? And you can determine your next step based on that information, but go get that information. Don't start to fill in the gaps with your own assumptions, with your own stories, with what you think is happening. Get clear, get clear, and then go have fun with attention, right? Because the attention is really something that is a beautiful acknowledgement. Like, attention is the resource that we're in charge of as humans that we get to steward however we like. There is a limit to it because we're bound by time and we won't live forever in these bodies, right? But, we can really determine how we're going to distribute our attention. And so I feel like when anybody distributes their attention to me, it's a blessing and it's an honor, even if they're mad at me, even if they're not being kind. I'm like, well, thank you for pointing your attention to me and being so generous in that way. But it really is like this opportunity to have fun, and to learn. And so I was telling my friend, I think it was just a fun time, and an opportunity to experience, someone in a different way. And I don't think anything was meant to come from it. And I know nothing was meant to come from it, right? Because there isn't a mutual attraction there. And this person is, already in relationship, but was out and was having a wonderful time and there weren't boundaries crossed. And, it was just literally two human beings engaging in a way that felt really good for both of them and felt really honoring for both of them. And that's beautiful. Like, I would say we need more of that in the world, right? So when you think about attention and you're like, but they're giving me so much attention, and it's like, well, that's wonderful. That's what a beautiful blessing that is. And if you feel like you want clarity on it, then I encourage you to go get clarity on it and to say, hey, I'm feeling with ownership. I'm experiencing this and I'm wondering if that's accurate, if that's mutual. And also, you might find that the reason you're so curious about the attention that they're giving you is because maybe you do feel some type of way. Maybe you do want more of it. Maybe you do want to take it a step further. And if you do, then that's wonderful. And you get to acknowledge that, right? But I feel like living in the land of ambiguity is not a fun place to live. At least for me, I don't like it very much. So I'm all about, let's go get clear. Let's go see what's happening here. If there's a desire that's deeper in me that is coming through and, I really want to action it. And this could save you a lot of heartache, right? Especially when we attach all these other things to attention that really don't belong there, right? Like, oh, they must just really, really love me, or they want to date me, or I think they have a crush on me. And that's really kind of juvenile, it's really kind of juvenile. It's giving middle school, high school vibes. And, and that a dance happens with two people who don't feel very confident. So it's like, let's go enjoy the attention if we enjoy the attention. If we don't enjoy the attention, then set the boundary and move differently, right? And if you do enjoy the attention and you feel like, I do want to take this a step further, then get clarity. Go get clarity and be vulnerable in that way and be willing to hear a no, right? Like my example, right? Of bringing it up and being like, what's here? And, he's like, I really am not the person to give you the life that you desire. Like, it stung a little bit, but it liberated me so much. And I feel like that man really contributed to me understanding what I liked about a connection, what I didn't like about a connection, and helped me to start to discern between men who were willing to partner with me and men who were just wanted to play and have fun. And oh my gosh, like that discernment saved me so much time and heartache and, confusion. It was like, this is awesome. So if they're giving you a lot of attention and you like it, then great. If you don't, then set the boundary and move differently. But don't spend your time in the land of ambiguity. Okay. Like there's so many more possibilities out here in terms of where you could spend your time in. And I hope that you decide to get clarity and that you decide to live in a land of clarity. All right. Have fun. I'll talk to you soon.